If you clicked on this video, there's a pretty good chance that you have something stuck in your paint job that you really didn't want it to be there while you were painting. Whether that be some lint, maybe a bug, maybe some orange peel, maybe a small child, who knows? But if you stick around, I'll show you how to fix it. So here is a quick rundown of everything that I'll be using to wet sand and buff this truck. I'm a 3M guy. I am used to using a traditional buffer, just a straightforward buffer. I've had this thing for 18 years, 15, I don't know what it's been. It's a long time. This is brand new. This is a new system to me. It's an orbital. So this is a learning curve. I'm trying all the chemical guys stuff out. The pads, the compounds, and the buffer. They have a local shop to me. Easy to get stuff. Trying something new. We'll see how it works out. I have these little tiny sanders. They're hook it. Just take these little tiny pads. I have them in high grits like 1500 or 1200. Here is the brand for that. I also have this. This is from Amazon. This is about 15 or 20 bucks. You could probably do most of a vehicle with this if you had to. Another thing is traditional, normal wet sandpaper. I recommend buying a brand name. This is Duragold. It's kind of a brand name, but just get you a little block. Doesn't have to be this brand block. Anything will work. You can get blocks around this size for like $5. I'll be sanding with these Mirka soft pads. These are like foam and they last forever. They hold a lot of moisture, so you don't have to keep wetting the material over and over. Like, these have been being used all day. It looks completely dry, holds a lot. Highly recommend these. You can do an entire vehicle with the 5-pack that they sell. It starts at 500, it goes all the way to 4,000. I wouldn't use 500 on a finished product, but you get the idea. On a DA sander, whenever you purchase a DA sander, if you don't have one, pay attention to the throw. You have DA sanders that are meant to take away material, and you have DA sanders that are meant to refine material. Pay attention to that if you're using them for detailing, because if I use this on this finished paint job, I will get millions of those little pigtails and the paint job will look like total crap. So do your research, make sure you buy the right DA. I highly recommend the Dynabraid, but again, the Husky is my workhorse when it comes to taking material down. This is like 40 bucks. This is kind of expensive. I don't want to talk about it. So yeah, that's the basic gist of everything that I'll be using in this video. So stick around. Right there is a piece of trash. You can actually feel it and hear it. I take this little guy. I think these are 1 inch, a little over 1 inch pads on this. This is a piece of 1500 grit. Get it wet with a little bit of water. Very gently, without rubbing the entire pad on the paint, because you don't need to sand any more than that piece of dirt. If I had a smaller one, it would be great, but I don't have one of those tools, at least not yet. So you see here, after just a little bit of sanding, after a few seconds, that piece of trash is completely gone. Non-existent. You can see the slightest little edge of where it was, but that will never show up after the truck is painted, or after the truck is buffed, is what I'm trying to say. But pretty much that's what I'll be doing on every little piece of trash that I can find, and then I'll be going over the truck with a lighter and lighter and lighter grit. Starting out at 1500, and I'll probably end somewhere around 3000, maybe 3500. But you get the idea. So, went over all of the spots, and as you can see, there's a lot of them. There's probably still some more that, yep, like I missed right there and there. So, next step is to take the DA. I'm going to be using 2000 grit, then 3000, and finishing it with 4000. Normally, I would go with the 1500 first, but this paint is still very soft, and I tried to do that, and it took me 3 hours to correct it. So, again, this is a bit of a learning process. Usually I would never paint something when it's this cold outside, so, but I had no choice. I had to get done. So now I will be sanding with DA for, I don't know, for what probably will feel like forever. So after you get all of your dirt nibs sanded down, and then you go over with your choice. If you don't have a DA, you can do it by hand. It's very time consuming, but it's relatively inexpensive if you buy good quality. Like, I wouldn't recommend wet sandpaper from Walmart to work on a paint job that you actually care about. From my experience, that paper just doesn't last. You'll spend 3 times the amount of money trying to do the same thing that you could do with something from a body shop or even Amazon. I have paper from Amazon. So after you get the nibs, dirt nibs down, nice and smooth, and again, they don't have to be 100% flat. Like, if you see here, those little rings, by the time all of this is sanded, will completely disappear. You'll never know it was there. It just blends right in. So, dirt nibs down. I like to go over it with 1000 grit on that piece of paper, or not even a piece of paper, these pads. If you can afford these, I highly, highly recommend them. They're made by Mirka. I'm not even gonna pretend to pronounce the other name because I have no idea how to say it. They're made by Mirka. I'll try and find a link, put it in the bottom of the video. I like to go 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000. Just keep in mind, the higher and higher you go, the less buffing you'll have to do. All buffing is another form of sandpaper with a little bit of product in it to make the shine better. As you can see here, this is about what you get after 4000 grit. I've gone over it a little bit with a buffer, but I stopped the video to add that in there. So very, very little reflection, but it's completely smooth. Like right here you can see where it's been sanded. It's super smooth. And again, use a fine of grit paper as you can, or a sanding pad or whatever, to cut down on your buffing time. Either you're going to spend your time buffing or you're going to spend your time sanding. I prefer sanding over buffing because the buffer's heavy. This is the first time I've ever used an orbital buffer. I'm used to the old school ones that just spin in one direction, and they're basically like taking a grinder to paint. And with those, they're not very forgiving. So the less time I can spend with a buffer on paint, the better. Especially with the orbital, because the orbital takes forever. That's the only thing that I see. If you have the money to purchase an orbital, it's a great tool. From the little bit of experience I have with it now, it's just very time consuming. It spins, actually it doesn't really spin, it just oscillates. So it, compared to a normal old school buffer, to me, it seems like it takes 10 times longer, but you have way less risk of messing something up. You could probably hold this thing in one spot for a half an hour without burning through the paint, if I had to guess, because it takes a long time. But now, again, all of these products are new to me. I have a medium to heavy duty pad. I'm using the extreme grade compound, and once I'm done with this, I'll go to the medium to light pad and go to the optical grade. Again, I'm a 3M guy. This is all new to me. I'm just trying to find a cheaper solution, because 3M products, which it's kind of seeming like I'm going to use a lot of this, so it might just be worth me sticking to what I know. But this stuff does work. I'm getting good results out of it. I'm not taking anything away from it. It's a cool system, and there's a local shop close to me that sells Chemical Guys stuff, everything that they have. So it's nice to be able to run to a place that's actually open on the weekends, because most of the time every paint shop in my area is closed on Saturdays and Sundays, and that's when I get all my work done. So if I run out, it's easy enough for me just to hit the store and pick some more up. So I'm rambling again. Heavy duty pad, heavy duty compound, medium duty pad, medium duty compound. The final polish goes on with the final little pad here. So, let's get back. One other thing to note, lights are very, very important when you're doing this work. If you don't have good lighting, you're not going to get good results. I keep this light next to my GoPro while I'm recording, but I can move it all around and do whatever I need to do to where I can look at this from every angle possible to ensure that I don't end up with little pigtail squiggles in my paint job. But yeah, you get the idea. It's good to have vertical lighting, something opposite of what you're sanding. That way you can constantly check and make sure. Like this toolbox is a good example. Like, there's no variations in those drawers. If you saw the drawers doing this as I'm going up and down, you know that that panel's not flat and straight, and it still has a ton of orange peel in it. But as you can see, it came out very, very smooth. So, yeah.